Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you my top 5 foundations. So these are going to be my drugstore and high-end favourites. I did find it quite hard to narrow them down to 5 because I do love my foundations, but if you'd like to see which ones I have picked out and why they are my favourite, then be sure to give the video a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed and just keep watching. So I'm just going to go with my drugstore favourites first and then I'll go into the high-end ones. So out of the 5 that I chose, 3 of them are drugstore and only 2 are high-end, so I think that's pretty good. Anyway, so the first favourite foundation of mine is the LA Girl Pro Coverage Foundation. So this is actually my holy grail foundation. I thought one of the others that I'm going to talk about was a holy grail of mine, but I just keep coming back to this one. I just want the most illuminating yet flawless and full coverage foundation. This is the one I think of automatically. It is claimed to be a HD long wear and illuminating foundation, and I agree with all of those. It's just, it gives you such a nice finish where you're just so dewy and so glowy. So if you have really oily skin, I don't think this will be the right foundation for you unless you're going to really set it. From price to the finish to the coverage, it's just amazing, and I love this foundation so much. If you've got oily skin, the only downside is that I feel like it doesn't last as long unless you do set your whole face, which sometimes can be quite annoying, but for how good the actual foundation is, it's so worth it and I just love it so much. The shade I use is Nude Beige, and I know you can get LA Girl off Beauty Bay. They have a bunch of shades, so hopefully you can find your right shade. I'm going to try not to talk about them all so much, even though I'm getting so excited about them. Next foundation favourite of mine is the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless foundation. This one I have in the shade 220, and for a long time I didn't use this. I thought I wasn't going to like it and I never got it because it says matte on it, and I hate anything mattifying because I do like to be on the more glowy and dewy side of things. This, I don't know why it says matte, because this gives you a really nice glow but not like too oily or anything. It just looks like you have a natural radiant glow. I don't know, it just looks so nice, and when you apply it onto the skin and you really blend it in, it just sinks into the skin so nicely. It doesn't just sit on top, it really sinks in and it just looks like skin. Like, there's no other better way to put it, is that it just looks like skin. It doesn't look like you're wearing foundation, it doesn't look cakey, it doesn't look dry, it doesn't look oily or greasy or anything. It just looks like a really nice finish on the skin. That's all I can really say about it. It's just so good. I know a lot of people love this foundation and I understand why, because it's great. It's literally one of the best. It's definitely up there with this. I do really love this so much. It's great. It says on the back that it mattifies, refines pores with a blurring micro powders for poreless looking skin, which I never noticed it doing anything to pores. I just think it's a really good foundation. But if you are someone that's oily, I'm assuming this can work for you. But it doesn't mattify my skin, I know that, but I still love it so much. And yeah, I think I only like it because it isn't actually that mattifying on me. But yeah, the only other thing is that I think this is to do with the fact that it's a mattifying foundation, is the fact that when I apply this on the skin, whenever I wear this, I feel like I don't actually have to set it with powder, whereas the LA Girl one is one of those foundations that you absolutely have to set because it's not going to last as long. You don't have to set it. It doesn't go dry on your skin, it doesn't feel powdery or cakey, but I still feel like you don't need to set it, which is really good. Last drugstore favourite of mine is this guy. I didn't know whether to include it in my top 5 because I haven't actually been using this for as long as I've been using the other foundations, but it's the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow Foundation, and I have the shade Sun Beige, which is 208. This has definitely been in one of my favourites videos because I love this stuff so much. It's so good. It's kind of like the Fit Me, but it's just more dewy. It's kind of the best way to explain it, is that it just gives you such a healthy glow to the skin. Again, you don't look oily, you don't look greasy with it. It just makes you look super healthy, and that's what I really like about it. It's on the front that it's got SPF in it, which is great, and also it gives a radiant finish. It's for normal / dry skin, and it's also quite hydrating, which I completely agree. It does have a lot of hydration in, and it just makes your skin feel a bit more alive. Even if you don't moisturize, I feel like you can still apply this foundation and you will still look healthy and that you have applied moisturizer, even if you haven't, because that's how good it is. So it doesn't say that it's best for oily skin, which I kind of agree, but I don't know, it depends how oily you are. If you're going to set it and just not set around like the perimeters of your face, then you'll have a really nice glow. And I've said this so many times whenever I use this, that it's not available in the UK, which I really hate because it's, like I said, it's one of my top 5 foundations. But I don't know if we're ever going to get it or when it's coming, but if you dig around you can get it. I think I got this off Amazon, if I'm right. I'm pretty sure I did get it off Amazon. And we have my high-end foundations. I have 2 high-end ones. The first one is one that I've been using for a while. I've been using this for years. I got this as probably the first high-end foundation I ever bought. I got this years ago and then I don't know what happened to it. I either lost it or what did I do with it? I had it for that long and I didn't use it that I just it expired and I had to get a new one. Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation, and I know this is like completely raved about so much on YouTube, but it is raved about for a good reason. This foundation just gives you the most flawless look to the skin. It's insane. It just makes you look really, really airbrushed, and it doesn't look like you're wearing foundation, but it still gives you such a good coverage. I wouldn't say it gives you as much coverage as the LA Girl one, but it looks a lot more flawless than this one does, if that makes sense. So these two combined, you've got a very good foundation there. It's got pretty good coverage, so it's not too thick, it's not going to look too full if you're not someone who loves full coverage. Yes, it's super pricey. I do think it is slightly overpriced, but it's Armani, it's not going to be like £10, is it? I know that they have another foundation, what's it called? The Power Fabric, I think it's called. I think that's more of a mattifying one. I'm not sure, I'm not completely 100% sure if that is what it does, but maybe if you are someone with oily skin, that might be a better foundation than this one. If you're looking for an Armani foundation, that one might be a bit better than this one, but I don't know, I've heard mixed reviews about the Power Fabric one. I don't know if people like it as much as this one, but I love this. I have the shade 7.5 and it's just one of those shades that I feel like it kind of adapts to your skin. I know that sounds really weird, but it always matches me. Like, no matter how far into winter it is, if I'm a bit paler or if it's like if it's summer, it will still match me, which is really weird. I also didn't mention that I didn't actually say how I apply any of these. I just use a beauty blender for them all, or my Morphe sponge that I always use for foundation, and that is the best. I haven't had any issues with trying any of these with brushes and then using a sponge over top. They still seem to be absolutely fine when I try that, so no issues there either. The final foundation favourite of mine is the Dior Forever Skin. This is the one that I was literally like looking at these two like, which is my holy grail, which is my holy grail. I did pick the LA Girl one, but this is so close to it. I feel like the price just kind of puts me off because it's so ridiculously expensive that I never want to use it, and it's also, I've almost dropped this and almost smashed it once, so I'm kind of scared. I did get this because Jaclyn Hill's skin looks amazing all the time, and everyone used to ask her what she was using on her face, and she said she used this foundation. I got it and oh my god, she's not wrong, it's so good. It really does make you look so flawless. It says it's brightening and it's weightless perfection, which is so true. You can't feel this on your skin whatsoever. The first time I tried it I was like, what is this? Like, there's nothing there, but I didn't realise that it did apply to my skin. I couldn't feel it, if that makes sense. It really doesn't feel like you're wearing any foundation. It's so lightweight, but the coverage is really good, and I don't know what they put in here, but it just makes you look like you have been photoshopped and that you have perfect skin. There's no pores, there's no nothing, you don't have a flaw. It's like an airbrushing tool that you can use on a photo. Just get this foundation and you don't need to airbrush your photos. It really photographs well. I've tried it, so good. And I didn't explain that actually. See, I'm such a mess. The LA Girl foundation, I've never had any issues with flashback, so I'm not 100% sure about that, but because I always tend to powder, and I would use, if I'm going anywhere where I know I'm going to be photographed, then I will use my Beauty Bakery powder, and that just cancels out any flashbacks. So I've never had any issues with this foundation. The Pro Glow doesn't flash back for me. I've tried it, it's absolutely fine, and that's the same with all the other three, even if I haven't powdered at all. And especially with like the Armani and the Dior one, I've worn them out for nights out and I've never had any issues with flashback for those. perfect, no issues. That is the end of the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video today. Be sure to give the video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and also subscribe if you aren't already, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. A top tat, no, what? I think this has definitely been in one of my favourites videos because I love this stuff. And I hope you enjoyed learning about, no,